Alright, so the very first thing I'm doing here is I'm establishing the length for the top by taking a center section from the crown to the forehead, combing the hair straight up, and basically cutting in the guide for the rest of the length for the rest of the haircut. I should say for the rest of the top of the haircut. Now, you can see I've taken another section, and I am combing it to the previous section, which was the very first section, and I'm using that previous section as my guide to know how short to cut this section. And I'm going to continue to work the right side, and once I've completed cutting the right top, I will then do the left side. Alright, so now that I've completed cutting the right top, it is now time to cut the left top. So same thing, combing the hair straight up, over directing to the previous section so I know how short to cut the current section. And then once I've completed cutting the top, we will dive into cutting the sides and back. Now that we've completed cutting the top, it is now time to cut the sides. As you can see, I'm taking it as short as my fingers can go. So the first thing I'm doing is I'm addressing the upper half of the right side, taking it down as short as my fingers will allow it to go, and I'm going to work my way to the back half of the right side. Once I've completed that, then I will go and do the exact same thing on the left side. Alright, so now that I've completed cutting the upper half of the right side, it is now time to cut the upper half of the left side. So, exact same thing, I'm just going to work my way to the center back, working from the left side. Alright, so now that we've completed cutting the upper half of the right side, the left side, and the back, it is now time to address the lower half. So you can see right here, I'm basically going through and taking the hair as tight as my fingers will allow it to go. Meaning that my fingers are right up against the head, right? I'm not pulling my fingers away from the head. If I've got my fingers as close to the head, touching the head as possible, then I cut from there. That is as short as my fingers will allow. If I want to go any shorter, I'm going to either need to do clippers or scissor over comb. Okay, so now I'm just going through and establishing the outline around the ear. You can see I'm just pulling the ear down, making sure I don't cut the ear, and then just working my way around the ear. Alright, so now I'm working the lower half of the back. And you can see I'm just taking sections, working my way to the center back again. I'm just behind the ear now, but I will continue to work around that lower half. Again, taking the hair as short as my fingers will allow. Okay, so as we discussed earlier, if I want to take the hair any shorter than what my fingers are capable of taking, then I'm going to have to implement some scissor over comb or clipper work. So in this particular case, I am doing some scissor over comb, taking the sides in a little bit tighter. Alright, so now I'm scissor overcombing the back of the head. You can see right here, when I get back behind the ear, I turn my scissors over. So right there, I'm holding it normally, And as you can see earlier, I had my hands upside down so that the blades, the tips of the scissors were behind the ear. Right there. I turned it upside down right there. I'm not behind the ear anymore, but that's what I mean by turning my hand upside down. And what that does is it eliminates my hand bumping into the ear. When I hold my hand upside down like that, I can get right behind the ear without having to worry about cutting the ear. Right there, if I hold my hands like that, it's going to bump into the ear. So keep in mind, when you're scissor over combing, you can turn your hand upside down, you can hold it right side up. It just helps depending on what part of the head you're working on. Alright, so we've come to the end of this haircut. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. We did some scissor over comb, we did some layering. If you have any questions or comments, please feel free to put them down in the comment section below. Also, don't forget to give this video a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe to this channel. And as always, I want to thank you guys so very much again for watching.